Hughie MacDonald is a meat cutter and a beloved member of our Cape Breton community. He invited me to his home at West Lake Annesley to chat about his life and to feature him in my film series. We talked about his profession, his love for Cape Breton and his many friends in the community, and eventually what surfaced was his 40-year battle with alcohol and eventual recovery and serious damage to his family life. With Hughie's permission and his hope of positively influencing others who struggle with addiction, we share this very spontaneous and intimate conversation. Hugh, how are you?
Not too bad.
Thank you for inviting me to your house.
Thank you.
Now, I'm here for a reason, and the reason is you asked me to come here.
Okay.
It's true?
It is, yep.
Am I to assume that you have stories to tell, things you need to share with me and all the viewers? Is that the reason you asked me to come here?
It is, yes. I was kind of interested in doing this because you asked me one other time about 4 years ago if I'd be interested in doing it, and I was going through some tough times, and I thought maybe this is the right time to be talk what I do for a living type thing. So
you feeling good? You feeling stable? You feeling in control of,
I do.
of your world?
I am a lot better than what I was, yeah, sure.
Would it be uncomfortable for you to discuss some of that period, and then we'll go on to other issues, just so that we can help? Ideally, we want to share stories that will help other people, inspire, and help people see their own world.
Sure, if I could just help one person, whatever it is, would mean a lot to me too. So
because you also had to get some help to get to where you are today. I don't think you were able to pull all this off totally on your own.
No, and I did through people I got to know through AAs, and they've been great. It helped me, and I don't think I would have be where I'm at right now if I didn't have AA. So,
all right. So let me just go behind the camera, and we'll chat. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, no problem.
How long have we known each other?
Probably 15 years, maybe.
Closer to 20.
Is it 20 years? Okay.
You were butchering when we first met. Were you with Donnie Haas, or were you over at...
I pretty well worked everywhere, but I worked for probably every store that's probably around here type thing, so I've been doing this since 40 years, so.
So is that the correct title for what it is you do? Is that your skill? You're a butcher? A meat cutter?
Well, they usually say meat cutter. If anybody sees me on the street right now, even if I'm in any condition or something like that, they'll say, there's the meat cutter, so that's fine with me. So.
That suits you well, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Hugh.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Okay. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I figured out that I drank for 40 years, and I couldn't figure out why people were pissed off, especially my family, my wife, and my kids.
Were you able to maintain your regular job, even though the alcohol was an issue? Like, when did you realize that you had a problem?
When I first found out I had a problem, it's like I wouldn't admit to it myself, but when I first found out was when I was asked to leave my family type thing, because I didn't think I was an alcoholic. I lost a great woman, and my kids have a hard time talking to me right now, so this is all over alcohol.
Well, time has a way of healing, and maybe people will realize that you're now taking responsibility for what you've done, and hopefully, continue on the right path and reunite with those that you love and who once loved you. Maybe rekindle a lot of those relationships. What do you think about that?
I'd love to, even to be a little closer to my kids. I mean, they're not kids now, but they're all growing up, and I just want to be a part of their lives. I see things a lot clearer now than I probably ever did. And it's too bad it took me so long to catch on to this. But
now you do have a full-time job. You do have responsibility. You get up in the morning and you have a purpose and a reason to do what you do. Many of us deal with issues with close relatives and friends who have an ailment that is not visible. Loneliness is one of those. Elderly suffer from loneliness. Alcohol is another one where, unless you're really close to someone, you may never realize that they have an issue. It may be something that they hide well and deal with it alone. Were there any people close to you that said to you, Hugh, this has got to end or else?
Well, I once in a while, when my mother's still alive, she'd turn around and say, do you think you're drinking too much? Or my wife, or my ex-wife at the time, she'd say once in a while, like, you got to start slowing down, like I always said, my favorite word was when I was coming home in the evening, I'd only have 2 beer, whatever it is, but it was not always 2 beer. It was, I'd always had to have more in me, in my system. So, and there was always, at the end of it, there was people trying to help me type thing, but again, being stubborn, who I am, I didn't think I needed the help, and I didn't think I had a problem.
Did you ever think that you'd be better off not alive? I mean, did you ever think that these issues you're dealing with are just way too much to carry on your shoulders?
No, not really. I thank God I never went through that. There's times that I wonder, like, things got to get better because I'm not drinking type thing now, but I never ever considered about doing anything to myself type thing. I had a lot of long nights by myself. I went probably 3 years just coming home and sitting in the dark type thing, and that's depression. I had help for it. On my own, I went to counseling, and that helped me a lot there too. So,
did any of this include taking medication, or is it all just you controlling your life better?
Just controlling my life better.
Okay, so the depression was not cleared because of some kind of medical prescription?
No, I could have if I wanted, but I'm not one for taking different types of medications.
Just imagine yourself 4.5 years ago, and you go to the future, and you're here today. How different were you then than you are now?
Right now, my biggest thing is, like, the only one I ever worried about before in my life was myself. I never worried about anybody else, and now it's like we all, as a group, we all worry about other people because of the problems they have. Like I said, there's always a lot of people out there worse than we are type thing. And if you see somebody that's been clean for, it doesn't matter if it's 6 months or a year, whatever it is, and they go back out, then that bothers me type thing. I did not think the day would ever come that would bother me type thing. And it does.
Okay, so now special occasions come up, birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas. Who makes the attempt? Any of your other members of the family or friends, or are you the one that initiates social get-togethers, reassuring people that you're a different person?
Yeah, I haven't talked to my daughter since the start. Probably once or twice. My wife, I probably talked to her the same amount of time, and I have a son that stays up over in Scottsville, and he's been good to me, and I got a son in Halifax, and it's tough. I just want them to be, I want to be there for them, and I want them to be there for me type thing, but there's times that if they're busy and they don't call, then I do get kind of a little down type thing, and wish we were a little closer. So they're probably hurt just as much as the rest of my family too. Like, 40 years is a long time to be doing the same thing, and especially when you don't think you have a problem type thing. So.
Well, you reached out and you were able to get help, and the other members of the family are dealing with that on their own, so it may take them a little longer, and you have to be patient and understanding. Yeah. So at least you're on this side of the fence, and you're recognizing and accepting, your responsibility. So maybe they'll see it one day. In the meantime, you can't push or force anyone to think otherwise. So we just let time take its course.
It's tough, like I miss my family. I know it's not going to change. Like, we won't get together. I done my hurt to my family type thing, but I hope someday they'll say, like, Dad, we're proud of you type thing, and that's all I want.
Do you think by doing what we're doing here today, and do you think that if they were to see how you feel and how you are, truly realistic about the whole network of friends and family, you know what I mean? You can see it with a different eye now. You think that this might help to rekindle?
It's not going to hurt, but I don't think it's going to help any. I think the hurt that I done over the years type thing, like I don't think I was a mean drunk, but it's like I had to have either a pretty good buzz on or go out. I took everything for granted. Like I said, I was married to a great lady. I'd go to a dance, and beer wasn't good enough for me, I'd always go up to the bar, knowing the bartender, so you order singles, straight. I'd make sure that I had my drink before I went back with the beer type thing. So, yeah, that's what it's like to be an alcoholic. So, but those days now, I can turn around and go to dances and not think about it type thing. So,
Is there anything, I mean, people tend to throw blame. It was something that caused you to start. My own father, he was an orphan at 12, and he never smoked, but at 12 years old, he bought himself a pack of cigarettes. His mother died, his father died, and he thought that was a way of escaping, the reality he had to face. So was there something in your life that you can go back and say, this is what started my drinking issue?
no, I could probably remember there was alcohol in our family. And well, there was members in our family that drank type thing, and I can remember sitting at the table where we were brought up down the red roast and swearing to my mom and dad that I wouldn't drink type thing, and that didn't last very long. When I got the okay to go out in the evening to 1 o'clock, whatever it is, and have a few beer, whatever it was, then my life changed and it was for the worst type thing.
Have you had other colleagues, friends at the time that were also drinking and maybe their lives didn't end up as well as yours?
Yeah, you can probably see that pretty well every week. Not just in one area, but like I go to Glendale or Margaree or Inverness or Mabo for meetings. I mean, I seen people that never drank for 16 years last year. There was one fellow never drank for 16 years and last year went back out. That hurts. Because when you look at yourself and you say how easy that is, I mean, I'm only one drink away from going back to where I was type thing. I had a lady come in, you were asking about something before, and I had a lady to come in Inverness when I was working at the co-op there, and she was getting mad because she was after hearing the people in the community talking about Huie being an alcoholic, and they didn't have the right, and people talking about you type thing. We didn't know you liked drinking. But my favorite saying is, I didn't like drinking. I love drinking. And there's a difference. If you don't mind, I was just going to tell you a little story about like what I was saying before, like if I could only help one person type thing. And it happened about 2 years ago. I met a fellow at a meeting in Mabel that he was left to die, and he overheard him laying in bed himself at the hospital. His ex-wife, his mom and dad were making arrangements to bury him because his liver was completely gone. And he was telling his story. His story almost sounded like my own. I was starting to have a problem with my liver. And he asked if he could talk to me after the meeting. And he come over and he thanked me for mentioning his name and feeling sorry for him type thing or trying to help him. And he showed me some pictures. He showed me 3 pictures on his phone. And there was just a fellow laying in bed. And pictures were off him, and he was down to 140 pounds. He's 200 pounds now, and we're talking. His liver starting to come around a little bit, just like my own. Mine's back to normal. But out of the blue, I just asked him that same evening. I said, "So what are you gonna do with the pictures on your phone?" Like he said, "Well, I was probably erased them." And I just out of the blue, I said to him, "So why don't you hang on to them? Next time you get an urge, look at the pictures." I talked to him 2 months ago. That was 2 years ago. I talked to him 2 months ago, and he stopped in. He had his work truck there, and he just said, "I just stopped in, still doing well." He's over 5 years sober, and the only thing he said to me when he was leaving, remember the pictures where we were talking about what you mentioned? He said, "In fact, I got a picture, one of those pictures above the sun visor of my work truck," and it's like, I don't know, it was my heart that got bigger or it was my head that got bigger, knowing that I said something like that and he listened to me type thing. And it means a lot. Well, I started hanging around. When I worked at the McClellan's Grocery in Inverness when I was 17, they had a meat cutter there. His name was Elliot McLean. And he had me making hamburger a few times, and which doesn't make me a meat cutter, but I always had a little interest in doing it type thing. So then I went working for Cooperative NS, and I was working with George Ingram. George and my brother Wayne owned the business, the old Quincy Market, and they had a grocery store there. And it was George who pretty well got me into meat cutting. So he came up to me one day and he asked me if I'd be interested in taking a trade in meat cutting. So I was getting half decent at it, and
How old were you then?
about 23. So he got me at the Agricultural College in Truro for 6 months for a meat cutting course. And it's probably the best thing I ever did.
Never looked back since.
Never looked back. I made a lot of friends, like what I'm doing. Lots of stories. Met a lot of different people. Being a meat cutter, it's like, it's not a glamorous job, but there's not a place where I can't go that somebody will say to me, said, well, we know who you are type thing. You're the meat cutter type thing, and you waited on us and type thing. And that happened to me in Antigonish twice at the farmer's market and the restaurant. People coming up and saying, we know who you are type thing, you know. At one time, like deer used to be a big thing around here, and you could probably go out and hunt whatever you want and get whatever you wanted. But there's one year that when George and my brother Wayne had the store, we cut 130 deer one year. Well, it was 132 deer we cut. I cut pretty well everything. I cut buffalo for Dougie Beaton. I cut emu, bear, moose, yes, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work to it. At one time, I used to make 20 cents a pound, like to cut it like in the evening type thing. But right now, I think with the cost of everything, you're probably looking at probably 60 cents a pound right now just to get a gut wrap.
Hugh, thanks for doing that interview with me today. This is March the 11th, 2023. I just want to make sure I have it on my camera that you agree for me to post or use this and share online.
Yeah, yes, I did, and thank you for coming over. It was a great time, and hope to do it again sometime.